My. I wonder how the party that just leans into law and order so strongly can justify this right here. So, Doc, we going deep in this. And do you know what Senator Cory Booker did today, starting yesterday at 7 p.m. last night? Senator Cory Booker took to the floor of the Senate and he used a little rule. It wasn't quite the filibuster because he wasn't standing against a nominee or a bill, but there's a technique that senators can use. And he took to the floor and spoke from 7 p.m. last night till about noonish today, fighting back against the GOP agenda. Doc, we need more of that. So we're going to explore how can the Democratic Party in the time of rebellion and resistance can stand up. They need to stand up a little more. But before we get to all of that, Doc, not only do I count it all joy to be with the folks who have joined us today, I always count it all joy to be with you. The doctor is in the house. What is on your heart, your soul, or your mind, sir?
My dear sister, you know it's always a joy to be in conversation with you. I got that wonderful call. I called Anahita. She said, my God, did you know that Nina mentioned all my name, my mama, and my sister right on the radio? I said, yes, indeed. Yes, God bless you. But you know, my dear sister, we got to be very clear. The age of Trump is an age of bleakness. Trump, age of grimness. The age of Trump is an age of dimness, hard to find a light. And by light, I'm talking about what Fannie Lou Hamer meant when she said, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. The strongest examples. We are living in a moment of the American empire where the depth and the scope of the decay and slow dissolution is happening every day. Recently, you probably heard about Harvard now. You got the attack on Harvard now. Almost $9 billion. Now, if he pull that on Harvard, Harvard is almost gone. It's almost gone. Columbia, almost gone.
400 million for them, but they caved.
Absolutely. And he's got another 57 colleges to go. So what we're seeing here is the unleashing of the worst of the human species, the worst of America, the worst of what used to be, the semblance of an American democracy. But the sad thing is that the opposition to this worst, the opposition to the thick forms of gangsterization of America still seems to be so weak. I mean, we raising our voices, we hit the streets, we give organizations and so forth. But when you look really at Congress, and it's good to see my dear brother, speaking and so forth, but Congress has been as weak as it can be. Then you look, where else can you go? Well, you got the courts, where the courts are trying to generate some opposition, but still very weak. Well, what else do you have? Public opinion and media. The media is not that strong, not at all. What else do you have? Mobilized people. That's increasing, and that's a good. That's increasing, and that's a good sign. But that's all people have. Where are the churches? Where are the mosques? Where are the synagogues? Where are the temples? Where are the musicians? We got Brother Macklemore and some others doing some wonderful things, courageous things. Macklemore has been probably the grandest artist in terms of telling the truth about the vicious genocide in Gaza. Record after record after record. Where are the rest of the artists? Where are the rest of the hip hop artists? Where are the rest of the rappers? Where's the courage? Not just the money. Where's the courage? You see, that's the thing more than anything else. I mean, one of our blessings is be able to be Brother Tavis's show where we just free enough to raise our voices and be part of the resistance, opposition, critique, condemnation of what is wrong. But we give due credit when they're right. That's true for any color, any gender, any sexual orientation, any religious or non-religious identity. But the bleakness, the dimness, You see, that's what's, I think, haunting our souls. So it becomes a spiritual condition. Can't be just any concrete hope in this moment of overwhelming bleakness, dimness, and unbelievable grimness. That's what I'm looking for, grimness. And we wrestle with it every day. We're gonna be wrestling with it every week. And yet, week by week, what is it now? 70-something days that the gangster's been in the White House now.
Ooh, Doc, it feel like it's been years already.
I know, it's out of control.
Yeah, out of control. I mean, he's going after, departments that they don't even control, trying to take over buildings. It is gangster. I mean, you have labeled what is happening so succinctly. It is gangsterism through and through, like dead in our face. There's always been gangsterism within the American empire, but this is a return. And I think there have been different iterations of this type of gangsterism that's in our face. And here it is again. We've turned the corner where it's in our face and it's undeniable.
It's real. Very real. You can imagine the consequences for the world. You're talking about threatening Iran, stealing Greenland, incorporating Canada, this kind of cannibalism, cannibalism, gangsterism. It's like, wow, when you allow bullies to get away with something over and over and over and over again, they up the ante.
That's right.
Story of Trump's life. You see, been able to do anything, say anything, get away with it. That's what gangsterism is. Now, the most powerful man in the world, the whole planet could go under because of his gangsterism. And he's got people following him, thinking that somehow he gonna make America great. Well, we're gonna see. Watch the impact of the tariffs. We're gonna see. Watch the impact of the wealth inequality that will escalate. Watch and see what the increased polarization. And it means hardly any place for truth, hardly any place for integrity, hardly any place for sensitivity to the vulnerable, hardly any place for honesty.
Ooh, Doctor, but we got to get through this. I'm thinking of a scripture as we're gonna come forward and continue this. What should it profit a man if he should gain the whole world but lose his soul? That's what's happening right now in these United States of America. You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner. When we come forward, we will continue this dialogue.
Speaking truth to power and to the powerless. This is Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner. Before the fire, Altadena was a real-life Wakanda. A thriving Black oasis just 50 miles from downtown Los Angeles. 80% Black residents were homeowners, building intergenerational wealth against the odds. It was a hub of Black-owned businesses, churches, and cultural institutions. It stood as a symbol of Black resilience and economic independence. Then, in a matter of hours, it was gone. The fire tore through homes, swallowed businesses, and left behind a painful void. But was it just an unstoppable act of nature, or was negligence involved? Did officials ignore early warning signs? Were the response efforts delayed or insufficient? What role, if any, did corporate or government failures play? Survivors are demanding answers. Don't miss our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall. The Eden Altadena Fire, 100 days and counting, on Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center, 1081 North Fair Oaks in Pasadena. Join Dominic DePrima, Nee Cordelai Corte, James Farr, Tavis Smiley, and a panel of survivors, community leaders, and experts as we commemorate day 100 since the wildfires flared up, and we discuss where we go from here. It's KBLA's Eden Altadena Fire, 100 days and counting Town Hall, Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center in Pasadena. Light refreshments to follow. Admission is free, but sign up is required at our KBLA1580.com website. This is a community call to action brought brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and Quinn Emanuel Trial Lawyers. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-550-9651. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-550-9651. That's 800-550-9651. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
To thine own self be true. More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner coming your way right now on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, for those of you who come forward with us, thank you so much. And if you are just joining us, welcome. Doc opened up his soliloquy, his monologue. We're talking about decay and courage, which Doc, you often talk about courage because we can't talk about the decay and the need without talking about some of the courageous people, both titled and not titled, who are navigating this country and this world and what it really is going to take to continue to push and continue to fight back. So, Doc, Senator Cory Booker, and we're just thinking, wow, I mean, the bar is so low. And this has nothing to do with him individually. It is, as you said, it's about the institution that is the Congress, and over the decades, not just in this moment of Trumpism 2.0, but just systemically. So he took to the floor last night at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because people are hearing, I mean, these Democrats are out here, Doc, especially those on the federal level, and they're hearing from voters. What y'all gonna do? Why y'all rolling over Senator Chuck Schumer? Where's the fight back? And, that just really got to him. And so he stood up. As I said, it was a special maneuver. It's not a filibuster. Filibusters are only used if you're trying to stop a piece of legislation or a nominee, but it's a special kind of, maneuver that he was able to use, because once he's given by the presiding officer, any senator that is given the floor, unless there is some explicit limit on how long they can talk, they can just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And that's what he was doing, to try to delay. Think of it like a sports team, in basketball, they try to delay, run out the clock. And that's exactly what he was doing. And it was really nice to see some fight back. I wish that they had been doing this all along. Had they been doing this in the Biden administration, maybe Trump would not be president, if they were holding Biden accountable in the same, in just holding him accountable, then maybe this wouldn't be happening. I'm old enough to remember when Senators Manchin and Sinema was holding up, the child tax credit, didn't want to expand it. I remember Senator Sinema going to the floor, and when they were trying to vote up or down, she did that little curtsy and put that little thumb down, all excited about denying working class people in this country what they need. And they being the Democratic Party and the president, being President Biden at the time, really never bumped up against Sinema and Manchin in the way that he should have. And I used to say to the president, gas up the jet. Let Senators Manchin and Sinema know that you come into their districts, and let everybody know that they standing against some of the proposals that he put forward that would have indeed helped working class people. A robust Build Back Better was one example of that, but they kept standing in the way of it. And instead of him using the carrot and the stick, all they got was carrots. They got invited to the White House. They got invited to Delaware. They got invited and wined and dined, and he got absolutely nothing from them. I don't remember the Democrats in the Senate at that time calling out their colleagues either. So I'm just, I'm just reminding folks of what could have been. But back to Senator Booker. He did that, Doc. He did it, and I'm really glad, and I hope to see more of it. I mean, as Democrats are traveling in the red districts, which is good. Your point about stirring up the people. Now the question becomes, we're stirring them up for what, though? For what?
What vision? What direction are we really talking about? I mean, I'm glad to see Brother Corey. I've known Brother Corey now for over 25 years, and we've spent good time breaking bread. I supported him when he ran for mayor, even though I was highly critical of his policies. He was an honest man. He was a sincere man. Still a neoliberal, still not saying a mumbling word about God, and not saying a mumbling word about Wall Street greed, not saying a mumbling word for the most part about the what Bernie highlights, which is the oligarchy. He's still very much in a neoliberal zone. But he's my brother. But one isolated, eloquent brother on the floor does not make a Democratic Party strategy.
Okay.
And if the Democratic Party strategy is basically Carville and company, which is just let the Republicans get enough rope to hang themselves, sit back, don't be part of the more active opposition. Fascism is deepening and expanding, and remain tied to your good billionaires rather than those bad billionaires on the Republican side, then that just reinforces the corruption of the whole system. It reinforces the corruption of the duopoly. And therefore, even all of the tremendous effort of our dear brother Corey, in the end, it's not going to be able to have the impact that one would like, because it still doesn't speak to the roots of the problem. You were talking about the roots of the problem. It's just this big money. It is just capitulation. It is just complicity. I was reading the Princeton president has come out now with his complicity because Trump's in Princeton. Now, Brother Chris had been not strong, but quasi strong. Now, all of a sudden, we will follow the law and we will fight anti-Semitism. Of course, we want to make schools safe for all students, but the anti-Palestinian racism, anti-Black racism that shot through these institutions, you can't say a mumbling word and you're going to have to deal with millions and millions of dollars to protect Jewish students. Please. And they talk about identity politics is too narrow. That is tribal to the core.
They're using identity politics.
Absolutely. When it's to their advantage, all of a sudden it's a positive thing. Do you think, in fact, that at Harvard and Yale and Columbia, the major problem is anti-Semitism? You got Jewish presidents, Jewish deans, Jewish faculty, 25, 30% faculty, when they got 1.8% of Jews in the nation, and yet they the site of anti-Semitism. Please, they must be protected like anybody else. Ain't no doubt about that. Absolutely. And it put them in more ugly predicament when you make it as if you take all of this money away just for them. Those Jewish students know they got Palestinians and Arabs and Black folk who are just as or more unsafe than them. And they don't get a mumbling word, don't get a focus at all. And of course, so many of our precious Jewish brothers and sisters in these colleges have been critical of the genocide in Gaza.
That's it.
So they don't count. They bad Jews. No count at all. It's just the good Jews you protect. Wait a minute.
It's hypocrisy. I mean, you're right. They're called self-hating Jews, like the Medea Benjamins of the world are called self-hating Jews. And I just, it breeds more resentment. So when you say it makes Jewish people less safe, and you even have some our Jewish brothers and sisters who understand what's going on here say exactly the same thing. Everybody should be protected, no matter how they identify, from being harmed, period. And I don't know,
it's sick. Every speech that I was blessed to give at the encampments, and I gave speeches at the encampments across the country, from Los Angeles to Baltimore to Harvard to Columbia, across the country. We made the same point, namely that every student has equal respect and equal protection, and that Palestinian babies count just as much as Israeli babies. And if terrorism is taking place in the form of killing innocent people, that's wrong. But when you got over 100,000 Palestinians killed and 25,000 Palestinian babies killed in a matter of months, and can't nobody hardly say a word, this is a level of sickness we must never, ever condone.
That's right, Dr. West. And when being a Palestinian is now being used as a slur, the president has done it, commentators have done it. I mean, again, we say the Palestinians today, who will it be tomorrow? And certainly those of us on the chocolate side understand deeper.
It's us all the time.
All the time. That's it. All the time. We are always the sacrifices, the subhuman, and not much really has changed. They've just figured out another way to put it out there. That's differently. They've maneuvered differently. It makes me sick. And I went to encampments, not all over the country like you did, but I went to the one at Case Western Reserve University, and shout out to those students from all walks of life. Jewish Voices for Peace was in the house, the Cleveland chapter doing the thing. And I want to lift up Jewish Voices for Peace. They supported me, Doc, when I ran for Congress, when I was viciously attacked by AIPAC and DMFI. Jewish Voices for Peace, the Defamation League attacked me too. And Jewish Voices for Peace was right there by my side, along with many others. But when you're talking about being labeled something, it's good that to have representatives from the group say, no, what you're doing is you're conflating and you're lying, and that's not her. And so I just love them so much, along with the Palestinian groups, Black people, white people, just the mosaic of humanity all over the country, as I'm sure you know. We're at those encampments just being pro-humanity. If we just break it down and just take out who's Israeli, who's Palestinian, those encampments were about being pro-humanity.
Absolutely. And and I know that if those Palestinian babies were European babies or Israeli babies, the U.S. Congress, U.S. media, U.S. universities would have the exact opposite response. And what does that mean? Palestinians don't count. What does that mean? Palestinians don't matter. Well, I come from a people who've been told Black folk don't count. Black folk don't matter. Well, I was shaped by Irene and Clifton and Shiloh Baptist Church and the Black Panther Party that told me everybody matters, beginning with the least of these, the poor classes, the wretched of the earth, and the language of France for now. That's what spirituality is. That's what spirituality is. And the age of bleakness, the age of grimness, the age of gangsterization of not just the country, but the whole world under Trump is proceeding intensely.
Yeah, Doc. And you just named a book. We always giving little book nuggets. I'm going to recommend to folks that are with us. You need to read France Fanon's Wretched of the Earth. Woo!
Blessed to write the 60th anniversary introduction to it.
You did, Doc? Oh, I got to get that version.
No.
Man, that's a classic.
That's a classic. Ain't no looking at the world through the vantage point of the vast majority of precious human beings on the globe. They call it third world. That just means that's the majority of people in the world who happen to be chocolate people who, for the most part, in the age of Europe, nobody tended in Europe, not enough people in Europe, tended to give them credit for being the rich human beings that they are. That's the racism that we talking about.
We're talking about the Eurocentric, worldview that otherizes everybody else. I mean, that's what this worldview does. And if in fact, because it's simple, all we got to do is look at human beings through the lens of humanity.
That's it.
That's easy. And that's how we should measure every move that we make for the most part. It's simple. This is not complicated. But when you have absolute power corrupting absolutely, and to think that poor people are just collateral damage, they just widgets on a chessboard, this is what we get both in this country and abroad. You listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner. When we come forward, we shall continue.
The truth will set you free, but first it might raise your blood pressure.
I'm not driving you, baby.
More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner when we come forward.
I'm Doug Davis with 4 things you should know with BIN News. The chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, Yvette D. Clarke, is speaking out on the possible cuts to SNAP benefits, arguing that it's another Republican scheme to cut billions of dollars of benefits that held down millions of American families. Representative Clarke and Sanford Bishop recently held a press conference to address their concerns. Senator Cory Booker has been speaking on the Senate floor for hours now in protest of the Trump administration. The New Jersey Black Democrat is protesting President Trump's tariffs and other policies, saying the nation is in crisis. The memories of Black Lives Matter Plaza in D.C. will be just that, a memory, as the artwork placed on the roadway on 16th Street near the White House will be gone by the end of the week. A high-profile officer-involved shooting case in North Alabama will be going to trial. It comes after a judge ruled that former Decatur police officer Mac Marquette failed to prove that he acted in self-defense when he fatally shot African-American Stephen Perkins in 2023. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Attention parents of high school sophomores, juniors, and seniors. CBU is offering one 8-week online general ed course free of charge. Courses are online. There's no application fee, and the first class is free. Classes start May 5th. Apply now at calbaptist.edu/PCC.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
USC Nation will always believe that last night's NCAA tournament game against Connecticut would have had a different outcome with Juju Watkins on the floor. A marvelous season for the USC women's basketball team ended last night with a 78-64 loss to UConn in the Regional 2 final. USC finishes at 31-4. Their best record in 42 years. UConn star Paige Beckers hurt USC with 31 points, 6 assists, and 4 steals. Center Rhea Marshall led USC with 23 points. A disappointing finish for senior forward Kiki Irifin, who the Trojans needed to help replace the loss of Watkins. After scoring 36 points against Mississippi State last week, Irifin made only 6 of 29 shots in the Trojans' last 2 games for a combined 17 points. She was 3 for 15 last night. UConn advances to the Final Four to play UCLA on Friday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way Black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like the style, though.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But this one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. Oh, one last number. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
LA property owners, join us to house more veterans. By accepting veteran housing vouchers, you will receive guaranteed rent while providing a stable and safe home that will make a difference in their lives. Help house our heroes. Expedited processing and dedicated support for property owners is available because every veteran deserves a place to call home. Email houseourvets at lacity.org, HOUSEOURVETS at lacity.org for more information.
This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
I'm back. Yes, you are. And yes, we are. Here we are. So this is the time in our show where we go to our YouTube viewers who are viewing in live time right now to see what they have to say. And it is jumping in there, Doc, per usual. We have Blessed Peacemaker. Greetings, Dr. West and Senator Turner. I'm so grateful for you both. And we are grateful for you too, Blessed Peacemaker. We got Pastor Harold and the Senator's glasses popping. Thank you so much, Pastor Harold. I appreciate you. And then he goes on to say, honestly, everybody's tired. And Doc, I hear that a lot. I'm sure you hear that a lot too. What do you say to people when they say, I'm tired?
No, if you're tired, you need to take a nap. If you're tired, you need to take a nap. Now, there's different forms of tired, though. You could be spiritually exhausted. You could be physically exhausted. And then you can be personally weary. Personally weary is what happens when you at it for a long time. You get to be 60, 65, 70, 75. Now somebody's 25 or 30, they don't need to be weary. They just get tired and bounce back the next day. But when you're really spiritually exhausted, that's something else. You can be spiritually exhausted at 17 years old, or 27 or 37. That's a matter of the state of your soul. And you gotta have the love and affirmation and community and solidarity. That's what fan and fuels your spirit and your soul. You have to have that. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I'm receiving what you're saying, Doc, because as of late, I've been feeling spiritually just drained, because of the weight of all that's happening in our country and our world, and having conversations with the Creator and doing my meditation and my prayer and things that I do just to say, Lord, what's my best and highest use? What would you have me to do in this moment to be a part of the solution?
Well, we all need that. We all need that. I talked to Anna Heath, I talked to my brother Cliff, talked to my son and my daughter, and say my prayers and listen to my Coltrane and Curtis Mayfield and Aretha and Phyllis Hyman and a little bit of Luther Vandross.
Yes.
Help keep me going. But sometimes, you still feel as if you're overwhelmed by all of the hatred and the greed in the world. That's just a reality for every human being, not just under the gangster Trump and his policies and cronies, but people have always felt that way every moment that human beings have been in space and time. There's been too much greed. There's just been too much hatred. And that's just a human thing. You could be Iran, the best and the worst. Iraq, the best and the worst. Russia, the best and the worst. United States, best and the worst. No matter what color, gender you are, it's a human thing.
Yeah, the human condition. So don't get weary and well doing. Recharge those batteries. And Dr. Point you were making, if you're 20 or 30, I remember my maternal grandmother, when I would say, so-and-so getting on my nerves. She was like, you don't have no nerves. Get your hands off your imagination. You know, when I put my hands on my hips, like I got it right now. Get your hands off your imagination.
Where would we be without our grandmamas?
I don't know where I would be, Doc. I'm telling you, I miss that woman every day, that mother wit that she had, that wisdom. She only had a third grade education in terms of formal education, but she had what we call in the Black community mother wit. And she was one of the smartest, most courageous women I've ever known in my life.
Her name again was?
Inez Emerson.
Inez Emerson. She's smiling on you, looking over the porch of heaven.
Oh, Doc, I hope so. She was about 5'1", 5 foot. I don't know. I'm probably giving her a little more inches than what she really had. But you know them types, man. They come in there like they giants. I miss her. Oh man, I miss her so much. Oh, Doc, but basically, Dr. West is saying, look, we can't get weary and well doing. And when you are weary and you recognize it, we got to do those kinds of things that edify and replenish our souls.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's it. And then on top of that, it's a drought. Metaphorically, people are being pressured to look out for themselves. And this, again, is coming from Pastor Harold, and I understand the point that he's saying. And Doc, we do have to try, right, to not just be inward. I mean, we got to, as they say, when you fly on an airplane, you got to put the mask on yourself before you can put it on somebody else. But I think Pastor Harold is making a really good point that a lot of times in crisis moments like this, people do turn inward and may not dare to care about anybody else because they're trying to reserve all the energy for themselves and their family.
No, that's true. That's very true. That's one reason why it's so very important to come together. You see, if the law firms came together, they could be stronger. Trump, given his attack. If the universities came together, they'd be stronger. The trade unions come together, they'd be stronger. Black folk come together, we'd be stronger. So there's no doubt that in this moment, people think, dang, you can't trust nobody. So I got to go it alone. And you go it alone, you're weaker. You're isolated.
That's right.
The margin, you see, which means you get crushed easier.
That is true, Doc, on Truth Time. You know, there's a saying, not mine, but somebody said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's really what you're saying, Doc. B-Bell of Bad Dog Bullies. Hey, B-Bell, I'm sorry. I get joy every time I read this handle. Good Tuesday, folks. One of my favorite shows, Senator Turner and brother Dr. Cornel West, are like Jesus at the market, flipping tables. Keep fighting the good fight. We're with you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That is beautiful. Thank you, B-Bell of Bad Dog Bullies. Love it. We got Brother Morris Phillips in the house. Good afternoon, Dr. West and Senator Turner. You're God's messengers to us. What a compliment, Doc.
Wow, that is true.
And that you always make it clear that we all are recovering. What'd you say? Gangster proclivities or... So we all are turned. I don't know. Tell them, Doc, because I'm with you on that. Ain't nobody perfect.
Vessels trying to love our crooked neighbors with our crooked hearts. That we are persons with gangster proclivities, but we can be redeemed.
That's it. We all vessels. Right. I love that. I'm a witness to that. We got Sister Shayla in the house. Hey, Shayla Johnson. She said it was good to see you on Don Lemon's show. I pushed this stream as best I could. I don't know if she's talking about you or me, Doc. I was most recently on you
on Don Lemon, huh?
Yeah, I was on last week.
Oh Lord, I didn't realize that. How'd that go?
It went very well. It was really good. I always enjoy being with Don and the Lemonheads, as he called his people. It was good. Thank you, Sister Shayla Johnson. B-Bell, a Bad Dog Bully, said, Doc, speak on it, Doc. Speak on it. Speak on it, Doc. Absolutely. So just so many of our people are in here, and they just know, Doc, how much we really do love and appreciate them for the things that they're saying. Now, somebody put in here that the Democrats they barely had a majority when Biden was in for the first 2 years, and that maybe we should take that under consideration.
What would you say to that, my dear sister?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's it. I mean, I understand where they're coming from, but I say absolutely not.
Well, what they did get through, they got through because they were unified. Now, if they couldn't unify around John Lewis voting rights bill, if they couldn't unify around the George Floyd Jr. anti-police brutality bill, what does that say about the party?
That's it. That's it. They couldn't unify around increasing the federal minimum wage. That is at $7.25. Blamed it on the parliamentarian who has no power whatsoever. They just didn't want to do it. Let's just be honest about it. I do understand what they are saying. I got it. We just trying to help them just take this thing a little further. And you're right. They unified on what they unified on.
That's right.
Point blank, period, as my baby sister would say. Point blank, period is what she would say. She's so ghetto fabulous. I love her so much. And happy birthday. Today is her birthday, Doc, my baby sister. So I want to say happy birthday to my baby sister, Deisha Davis. Happy birthday, baby. When we come forward, Dr. West and I will talk about this president saying that he may run for another term. He basically saying the hell with the 22nd Amendment of the United States Constitution. We're going to analyze that when we come forward.
It's Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
At Providence, health equity is the foundation of our community health initiatives, ensuring care reaches those who need it most. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in America. African Americans face a higher risk of life-threatening issues like hypertension, the number one cause of stroke. 55% of Black adults have high blood pressure. The good news is 80% of heart disease is preventable with healthy lifestyle changes and patient-centered care provided by the Providence Heart and Vascular Institute. From routine screenings to advanced procedures, Providence provides comprehensive care for the heart conditions that overly impact our community by ensuring patients receive treatments tailored to their needs. Let's stop the trend of being 30% more likely to die from heart-related problems. Take charge of your heart health with world-class cardiologists who deliver the compassionate care you deserve. Visit providence.org/SoCalHeart. That's providence.org/SoCalHeart to request an appointment.
Hey, this is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and for over 20 years, Parkside Economic Development Corporation has served Leimert Park and surrounding communities, empowering tomorrow's leaders and changing lives. Parkside EDC has awarded over $400,000 in college scholarships while sharing economic principles of the Big Five of money with students and their families. Parkside EDC partners with organizations like the Brotherhood Crusade to assure our youth have the financial acumen to succeed. Parkside EDC provides families and businesses with financial insights, offering free online, on-site, and on-air B-Warp presentations. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Programs helps our community acquire, sustain, and pass down legacy wealth. High school seniors can apply for this year's scholarship awards at parksideedc.org. Scholarships will be awarded at Parkside EDC's Gospel/Jazz Brunch on Sunday, April the 27th. For details, tickets, or donations, please visit parksideedc.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Truth crushed to earth shall rise again. You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, it will rise again. That is something we got to hold on to. Now, before we get to President Donald J. Trump declaring that he may defy the United States Constitution, just a few more. Blessed Peacemaker recommended a really good book. And he said, Nina Turner, pick up Richard Rohr's, I hope I'm pronouncing that last name correctly, latest book, Tears of Things, on being a prophetic voice as a calling. It's his best so far. You are in my prayers, my sister. I'm going to pick up that book. Doc, have you heard of that one?
No. And how do you spell that last name again?
That last name is spelled R-O-H-R.
Oh, R-O-H-R. No, I don't know that book.
Yeah, Tears of Things. I'm going to pick that up. So thank you, Blessed Peacemaker, for that. And then we got Sister Sonia Little. Are you going to speak on what Senator Cory Booker is doing and what will his point come across? And will his point come across? And so Sister Sonia, Sonia Little, just want to let you know, Doc and I started off with that. So you bring up a very good point. If you are just joining us, please make sure you download the KBLA app so that you can go back and listen to the shows. And then wherever you get your podcast, you can pick up Dr. West and myself and all the other fantastic shows that are here on KBLA Talk 1580. Yes, we did lift up Senator Cory Booker for what he's doing. Doc, I'm glad he's doing it. And you bring up a spectacular point that even as good as this moment is in terms of him showing some heart, it is but a drop in the bucket compared to all the other things that should have been done and that need to be done. So while we lift him and celebrate this moment, we can't get caught up in just this moment because so much more needs to be done. I hope I'm interpreting what you said earlier.
Oh, absolutely. We just said that one eloquent speech that goes on for hours does not make a Democratic Party strategy. Yeah,
they need a strategy. And part of that, as far as I'm concerned, is really having a coming to Jesus meeting, as we would say, do an autopsy, figure out what you're doing, how we got here, why we got here, and then what is your plan moving forward. And it cannot just be simply resisting Trump. We see that didn't get the party anywhere. He won again. But it does have to be that vision. And I have yet to see that coming from the totality of the Democratic Party itself. And so what is happening, the faithful of the party, the voters are frustrated and up in arms as well. They should be about a party that has failed to deliver and in many ways is responsible. Not just what happened in 2024. We got to go backwards, but they are responsible. Neoliberalism is responsible for neo-fascism.
And that's a very painful truth, but on Truth Time, we have no troubles trying to speak the truth.
We don't. I mean, just say, Doc, I got a speech that I give and I tell people, say amen or say ouch. It's going to be one of the two.
Say amen or say ouch.
That's it.
Ooh, that'd be...
if I'm marching down your street...
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, just say amen or say ouch. And we all find ourselves in those positions. Even me, sometimes I got to say ouch because I can't say amen because I'm part of that, evolution of thought. And in the face of new information is a beautiful thing.
Oh, yes. Forever growing, forever maturing, forever taking things in critically and forever surrendering to some cause greater than us so we can be a force for good before the worms get our bodies.
Woo! Surrendering to something greater than us so we can be a force for change and good before the worms get our body. That's a whole sermon in and of itself. When we come forward, I promise you, as soon as we come forward, we're going to the 22nd Amendment of the United States Constitution and how President Donald J. Trump, law and order man himself, feels as though he's above it all. You're listening to Truth Time.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive. where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
It's me, Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. I see those dry elbows, baby. But don't worry, get moisturized right in the shower. So hydrated you can skip the lotion after.
Don't wanna see it dry no more. Skin so moisturized with body wash.
Look at you now, no more dry skin. Your skin gets the moisture it craves with
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. S&P volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an S&P open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit caspvolunteer.org. Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
Oh yeah, Love and Truth meets here every day with Dr. Cornel West and myself. We are so proud. So, Doc, this framing is coming from the Atlantic. Why Trump says he's not joking about a third term. This article was written by Brother Jonathan Chait. I encourage people to read it. But basically, Trump is saying that lots of people are telling him they want to see him run again. He's going to consider it, even though it's against the Constitution. People can go read the Constitution. The 22nd Amendment to the Constitution sets up the term limits for the president of the United States of America. He's basically saying he's going to defy all of that. He was asked a question about whether or not he was kind of thinking that J.D. Vance would run in 2028 and then flip it so that Trump could get it. He said that is one consideration and a whole bunch of others. So they are cooking this thing up, and it will behoove people to take this seriously. When he was asked about, Mr. President, or told, Mr. President, this defies the Constitution of the United States of America, he hushed the reporters off. He said he's not going to worry about or deal with that right now. So the irony that the president that speaks so much about law and order and the party that pushes law and order would just so cavalierly say, I think I just might do this thing again.
No, exactly. And of course, he believes that the elections are rigged when he loses. And when they're not rigged at all. They're just as fair as they can be. And so even if somebody else were to run in his name and they lost, he would say they rigged and gather his folk and want to overthrow them all over again. So when you reach a point, you have such a powerful person who just doesn't give a damn about rule of law, doesn't give a damn about Constitution, doesn't give a damn about any accountability, then that's what wholesale gangsterization is. And the only way you deal with gangsterization is you have to have countervailing forces and voices pulling the rug from under the gangsterization.
Dang, Doc, every time you use that framing, countervailing forces, I love it. It's something powerful about that. Like I could feel it when you say it.
What we need. But the good news is That's been the story of black folk for 400 years. We've been countervailing and counterforcing and coming up with creative ways in an improvisational way with unbelievable flexibility and fluidity and appropriateness that the world can't understand and the world can't comprehend. That's what black folk do when it's time to throw down.
We specialize in countervailing force. Woo, Doc, when it's time to throw down. That's it. That's what we're doing here on True Time. In our remaining 60 seconds, James Baldwin, Doc, he said, Black people need witnesses in this hostile world that thinks everything is white. Woo! If that ain't the moment, our Palestinian sisters and brothers need witnesses. You know, the downtrodden need witnesses. James Baldwin laid it. He told the truth. Like the truth needs to be told. We need witnesses in this world that thinks everything is white. That is a word. Maybe Dr. West and I will analyze a little bit of that when we come forward again tomorrow. We count it all joy. Until next time.
KBLA 562. From traditional funeral services to memorials to direct cremation, pre-needs, and more. Call Charlotte White at Exquisite Family Mortuary for Southern hospitality in Southern California. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. Exquisite Family Mortuary is located nearby in Inglewood, California. Exquisite Family Mortuary, where your loved one becomes our loved one.